Welcome to this very important event in Monash Health calendar. I am Deepak Sanghvi, Chair of the Monash Health Board of Directors. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we are meeting, the Wurundjeri and the Bunurong people, and my pay respects to them, their culture and their elders past and present. It has been an extraordinary year, perhaps the most extraordinary in your time with Monash Health. I'm so proud of every member of our Monash Health team that responded to the COVID pandemic to continue to deliver the very best of care under the most challenging of circumstances. You have shown outstanding commitment and dedication. Today's event will celebrate your incredible contributions. Each of you has a different role, and whether it is keeping our health services clean, making meals, or delivering the best face-to-face healthcare, your contribution makes a real difference in the lives of real people. Working in health is not like any other job. And by your service, you have shown you are special people. As you continue in your life journey, I hope you will reflect with pride on the difference you have made to the people's lives at their time of need. I hope you will also be excited by the future as I am. Ahead of us, we have the opportunity to grow and improve our care to the community. We have the vision to be a leading teaching and research health service of the international standing. I'm confident we will achieve that vision because of you. I'll finish by thanking you again for your service each and every day. You inspire me, my board members, to work together in the service of a great health service. I now ask our Chief Executive, Andrew Strip, to reflect on the past year. Enjoy your day. You have earned it.
Thank you, Deepak. Let me just do some adjustments to the sound. There we go. Thank you. Thank you, Deepak, and welcome to this unusual event for us in our Length of Service Awards. Tonight, we're going to celebrate and acknowledge our volunteers with 10 years of service, our volunteers with 5 years of service, and our employees 10 years of service. It's an interesting time, isn't it? One that we've all been through over the course of this year, and it's always been an event that those of you that have attended before, that we've thoroughly enjoyed. A great opportunity to meet so many different people, a great opportunity for us to say thank you for all the exceptional work that you've done, to the volunteers here tonight, recognising and thanking you for giving of your discretionary time, the time away from a workplace to come to our workplace and assist us in providing such an important service to our community. Always good to say hello and share stories with people, hear about their experiences, and tonight we're going to try and inject some of that into our proceedings. So let's see how we go in this new digital format. I thought I'd just take a moment to reflect and pause on our year that we've just been through, and as I said, what a strange year. I sometimes wonder where on earth winter went this year. It feels like it's all been very compressed, and like I'm sure many of you, I sometimes struggle to remember which day of the week it is because weekends and weekdays have become a little bit blurred, although pleasingly we're returning to a state of a level of normality. I'm sure those of you that have seen some of the press today, we had a very exciting event where we discharged the very last person as an inpatient with COVID-19, hopefully ending a chapter and perhaps an indication of things to come where we have very few, if any, people with COVID-19 in our health service more broadly, but particularly at Monash Health. And it's back to the 24th of January, a couple of days before Australia Day, that we saw our very first COVID-19 person in Australia, somebody who had recently returned from Wuhan in China. We'd all been hearing about this virus, this disease. It seemed very remote, and all of a sudden it was on our shores and something that we needed to respond to, and the Monash Health team did a fantastic job. And then some 300 odd days later, here we are with no patients in our health service. We started to see transmission in other states. Not long after that patient arrived, a state of emergency was called, and we started to get used to the idea that things were going to be very different. We started to wind back our elective surgery. We started to practice differently. We started to come to terms with the fact that as a health service, we were going to have to respond to and provide a very different service to our community. By the end of March, though, things started to slow. It looked like we were getting things under control, and we started to prepare for the next phase. We were all thinking, let's hope this doesn't happen, but, you know, let's hope a second wave doesn't happen, but let's take this opportunity to prepare. And we started to make a number of changes in our health service, from the things we'd learned in those early days through to how we could see things moving ahead, and also a bit of an opportunity to take a bit of a breath. By the middle of May, we'd trained over 7,000 of our employees in all the key ingredients of effective, safe practice in relation to infection control. We'd done a big refresher around what's called PPE, our personal protective equipment. We commissioned in record time our new clinical areas at Casey Hospital, something that we'd been hoping to do, but all of a sudden we're able to do. And then, you know, by the end of May, things were starting to ease and things were looking a bit better. In June, we had our very first admission for over a month. So we had a period of time where we had no COVID-19 in our hospital, but other hospitals were starting to experience some pressures. We were asked to set up new and innovative ways of screening. It feels like it's just normal practice now, but we set up our new drive-through clinics, drive-through centres at Casey Fields out in past Berwick. We set up a new drive-through at Dandenong, something that we feel like we just do in our sleep now, but great effort by Claire Pearce and many of the team in terms of getting that up and going very quickly so we could test and find out what was going on in our community. And then we started to see more and more happening, didn't we? And it was, early August where we got to 687 people with COVID-19, and then we moved into that phase of life where we were only allowed to leave our home for a very certain number of reasons. Our volunteers, we'd asked to stay at home and during much earlier than this, of course, and you know we felt the impact of that. We felt the loss of our volunteers and the important role they have. Very much aware that there was an impact in our service delivery, recognising, for instance, that people weren't visiting and assisting us in our residential aged care program and many of our other services, our children's services. But it was a bit uncomfortable. It was something that we didn't really want to do, but it was essential given the sort of the balance of risk that we were faced. And I think the community and every member of our team, including our volunteers, understood why that was so important. And as I said, I think recent history is much more familiar to us all. It's come along very quickly. We're at a position now where, as of last night, yesterday afternoon, the very last person in Victoria was discharged from hospital and cleared of COVID-19. Let's hope those zeros continue, that no infections, no new infections, no deaths, no one in hospital is the trend for our days and weeks and months ahead. So I think, again, thank you all for the work you do. Thank you for the exceptional effort you all make. I think for Monash Health, it's been an extraordinary year, and I think we've been able to demonstrate to our community, to government, but I think most importantly to ourselves that we can do this, that as a team we are strong, we provide excellent care, and we have a bright future ahead. Thank you for coming to work every day. Thank you for the work you do for our community and assisting each other in the delivery of care. and for choosing in particularly Monash Health as a place to work. On that note, I'm now going to move into the next stage of proceedings and invite Andrew Block, our Chief Transformation Officer, to move into announcing our 5 and 10 year length of service awards for our volunteers. Welcome, Andrew, and thank you. And not standing at the golf club or the racecourse this year, but here we are, dispersed all over Melbourne. Over to you, Andrew.
Thank you, Andrew. And can I say I'm thrilled to have the opportunity to honour the volunteers who give so generously of their time. I think we've all had an experience of just of the contribution that the volunteers make to the environment of healthcare and most importantly our patients' experiences. So we honour them. So honouring those who've been volunteers and consumer advisors and served across the organisation for 5 years, I'd like to read out Jeremy Lebroy, Gary Porter, Michael Gibbons, Natalie Walker, Sandy Cowling, Jenny Hill, Peter Hughes, Seham Walton, Kaz Welashek, Julia Torelli, Josephine Marnie, Jim Demetriou, Danny Elbaum, Barbara Giorno, Sharon Harris, Sharon Redmond, Felicity Stretch, Heidi Wiskin, David Wiley, Diane Lockwood, Lubna Razak, Mohammed Shagasi, Jean Ross, and Joe Ford. Thank you now to those who've given generously over the last 10 years as volunteers and consumer advisors. Robin Evans, Joe Langsford, Nan Howe, Stephen Jackson, Delcy Hegarty, Jan Flintjar, Annie Whitlock, Pam Ferry, Michael Manuel, and Miriam Prasetcho. Thank you all for the work that you do, and thank you for your dedication and commitment to our community. Back to you, Andrew.
Thanks, Andrew Block. I've just slipped into my Monash Children's Hospital T-shirt. Haven't worn this one for a while, so I thought this was a great opportunity. Excuse me. As we move into tonight's ceremony, we've got a slightly different approach to how we do this. So we decided that what we would do is make it a bit interactive. I'm going to have a chat to a few people, but also a bit interactive. So I want you to go to Slido on your iPad or your phone or on a computer. You just type in S-L-I-D-O, Slido, in your search engine and it'll pop up. Those of you who have been to the employee forums will be very familiar with this. So Slido, S-L-I-D-O. Don't know if we're going to pop a little screensaver up to help people navigate, but otherwise here we go. There you go. So Slido, thank you, very quick. So Slido, pop that into your screen and into your computer, and then that code MHLOS 2020. And when you get online, you'll see that there's a question we've posed, which is, you've travelled back in time to your very first day at Monash Health. What would you tell yourself on that day, having had the experience of being here as long as you've had? What would the words of wisdom be that you'd shared with them? So type your answer in, and we'll come back to that very shortly, if I've still got a voice. So let's jump to Gary Porter. Gary, are you there?
I'm here. Have you got me?
We have, Gary. Welcome.
Hello, how are you?
I'm very well, and you?
I'm well, thank you.
So, Gary, you're been with us for 5 years, I think. Is that right?
That's correct. I started 5 years last May.
5 years last May. And
Yep.
just tell everyone a little bit about what you do with Monash Health.
I'm a volunteer guide at the front reception desk at Dandenong, Monash. So people come in, I ask them, do you need help with directions? They usually say yes, and then I either direct them or take them to their destination.
You're accommodating this new medium pretty well, Gary. Sort of look like a bit of a natural with this virtual chat thing.
I don't know about that. Probably just luck of the draw, maybe because Richmond won the grand final, I suppose. I don't know.
Don't tell me you're a Richmond supporter, Gary.
I have been a Richmond supporter since 1964.
Right. Well, we're just going to put the rest of the evening's proceedings on hold, and you and I are going to talk football.
Very good.
I might get into a bit of trouble. I'm just waiting for someone to jump in my door. Gary, Gary, you were at Pilkington Glass before you came to Monash Health, is that right?
Yes, I was at Pilkington Glass for nearly 24 years. I'd done a variety of jobs, driving forks, cranes, printing glass, toughened glass, laminated glass, double glazed, everything with glass, I did it. And it was a terrific place to work. And I think because it was so good there, when I finished up, that was one of the reasons why I got into volunteering, because I was looking for something else to do. So my wife said, why don't you try volunteering somewhere? So I found out about the hospital, Dandenong Hospital. I annoyed Zoe Pelkis, I think her name was. She was the volunteer coordinator. And eventually she answered my phone calls, and then she invited me in for an interview, and that's how I got started at Dandenong. Yeah, it was terrific. And
do you have any highlights you want to share with us?
At the hospital?
Yeah.
I just like the thank yous and the smiles off people when you help them. I like the camaraderie between all the people at the hospital, the medical staff, the office workers, PSAs. Everyone's very helpful, and you can have a laugh and a smile with them too. And it's just good to help people. As I say, it's just good to get a smile and a thank you. Sometimes they're a bit nervous when they come in, so you have a chat to them, and hopefully it makes their day a bit better.
I've got no doubt. Amazing what a simple smile and a bit of a friendly face can do, Gary.
No, they seem to love it and feel comfortable with it, so that's good for me as well.
Well, thank you, Gary, again. Thank you for giving us of your time and for everything you do. I've got no doubt that makes a really big difference to people's experience of our health service. People, I think, sometimes forget coming into our workplace is very unfamiliar, and people don't usually come to see us because they're keen to. Obviously, as a maternity service, we bring a lot of happiness into the world with new babies and new lives, but there's also a lot of people that come to see us when they're unwell or nervous and anxious. So your approach and attitude is very welcome. So thank you and congratulations for tonight.
Thank you very much. I enjoy volunteering, and I'm looking forward to getting back to it when the time is right. So not a problem.
We're not far away from it, Gary. We're just sorting that out at the moment. So hopefully we'll welcome you back soon. Thanks for joining.
No worries. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
So now I'd like to ask David Ballantyne, who's our Executive Director of Capital and Infrastructure, to announce the first of our 10-year length of service awards for employees. David?
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you for the introduction, and pleasure to be here this evening. These events are really important to me for a number of reasons, but most importantly for me, it's all about culture. And the things that are really about culture about organisations are, the people of those organisations, and those people that have been volunteering for 5 years and the 10 years, employees we're recognising tonight, you're the lifeblood of these organisations. And something of this scale, it's fantastic to be here to be involved with presenting, albeit virtually this evening and not in a physical form like we were last year. But really a pleasure for me and honour to be involved with this. So Thank you for the opportunity, Andrew and board, and it's a great opportunity that I'll kick off this evening's events for the 10-year employees, which is an incredible commitment, and I know we see a few people at times with 30 years as well, so maybe a few of them on a journey to the 30-year employment, which is a fantastic recognition. So congratulations to everyone this evening. So I'll be about 5 minutes going through a few names, but I'll kick off with Marguerite Abbott, then Priyanka Abhiguna Wadina, Ashanafi Abhidajo, Michelle Avalos, Anne Abordo, Ramona Abraham, Britta Abraham, Stephanie Adamson, Olu Tula Adilu, Geraldine Agus, Michael Alamilio, Mency Alexander, Kerry Allen, Ashala Aluchi, Joanne Andelish, Gio Andrews, Julie Andrews, Eileen Ang, Shajil Ansari, Yoland Antil, Basilos Antonotis, Anne Anthony, Ali Azad Paul, Thanuja Aturu Gamaj, Alicia Au, Anna Azaret, Rincy Baby, Kelly Backhouse, Charles Ballaloo, Andrea Baird, Tracy Baker, Nicole Barrett, Daniel Barrett, Kim Barry, Cassandra Bertusevich, Mary Batson, Melissa Batt, Vanessa Beale, Natalie Bell, Dan Benelli, Erin Bentley, Jessica Bermudez, Deborah Berry, Samantha Best, Catherine Bertoni, Vista Bopti, Jodie-Ann Billings, Bina Binu, Melanie Blacker, Alison Blackney, Shirin Blandon, Lydia Baru, Maria Bonko, Jonara Bonus, Bindo Bose, Bree Boucher Alexander, Lisa Bowker, Francis Braham, Andrew Braun, Nicole Briggs, Sarah Brighton, Christine Brown, Carolyn Bryan, Ross Bryant, T. Bowie, Thomas Buick, Monica Bunworth, Megan Berg, Susan Burke, Joanne Burnick, Catherine Burrell, Tim Butler, Shelley Kim Butler, Jodie Butterworth, Linda Byron, Ruben Caballero, Delingi Asangi Caldera, Ashley Calderbank, Michael Kaluza, Cecile Kaluza, Margaret Candon, David Canty, Daniel Castillo, Shijmal Shako, Karen Chan, Jessica Chandra, Rujiku Changunda, Sally Chapman, Michelle Chappell, Pratima Chibrulu, Wei Chi, Jisha Sherien, Claudia Shitan, Julie Shikaka, Charles Chijoke, Nisha China Thomas, Karen Chipperfield, Leanne Chu, Yi Chung, Yvonne Chow, Stacey Jane Christensen, Marion Christie, Josephine Christopher, Kenneth Chua, Sunjiyoon Chung, Ellen Clark, Kathy Coates, Terry Cole Constantinides, Amy Coleman, Michael Coman, Elizabeth Coughlin, Kim Cooper Johnston, Janine Cowan, Sharon Cow, Jessica Cox. Congratulations to all of you for your 10 years service with Monash Health. It's greatly appreciated from all of Monash. Over to you, pass back to you, please, Andrew.
Appropriately, David. This is my special capital jacket that I get to wear when you take me on tours around the health service, and just seemed appropriate. It's actually quite warm as well. Let me share some of the answers to the questions. So you've travelled back in time to your first day at Monash Health. What would you tell yourself on that day? Enjoy. I'm proud today that 10 years back I joined the Monash Health team, as it's a good environment to work in. It has had a good impact on my life journey. It will be a beautiful journey. You'll be fine. Just remember, no agenda, and listen. I might package that one up. Believe in yourself. Don't be overwhelmed. There is support at every turn. Don't expect to learn everything in a short time. This place is huge. You will probably never know all the services at Monash Health and how far they spread across our community. Take the time to appreciate all the paths you come across. It will lead to opportunities beyond your expectations. I'm proud that today, the 10 years back, I joined Monash Health team, as it's a good environment to work in. It has been a good impact on my life journey. I would tell myself to stay focused, help patients, and try to give back to the community. Thank you. Such great advice. And we might, in all seriousness, pick up some of those and include them in our orientation program, so we can take your wisdom and share them with people that at the beginning of their time at Monash Health. So Katrina, our Chief Nurse and Midwifery Officer, is here to announce the next group of 10-year awards. Katrina, are you there? You are. Katrina, how long have you been with us?
Quite some time. I started with Monash Health in 2001.
About the fact that I can't hear you.
Oh, that's disappointing. Can you hear me now?
No, still not there.
Andrew, we can hear Katrina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got Katrina.
Have another question? No.
I'll try again, Andrew. I must just be reserving myself not to be heard by you for some reason.
The rest of us can hear Katrina.
Works out the technical problem, takes a call from our technical team on standby, and does a few other little wonderful things.
So
just a I think. We're going to do one of those things that we do every now and then, which is show our agility and flexibility. So I'm going to ask the next Slido question. So we're going to pop that up while, Katrina, you might need to reboot or do something else to find your way, unplug and plug. I'm not sure, but I'll leave that to you. So our next question for people on Slido is, what Monash Health moment lives in your memory? So hopefully I can, while we're just waiting for Tarina, is I can jump to Jessica. Are you there, Jessica?
I'm here, Andrew. Sorry, just turn my camera on.
Can't hear you either, Jessica.
So, Andrew, we've got Jessica. So I'm actually thinking that it's Lou. It might be a problem at your end.
We've worked it out.
So,
we've worked out the problem.
Okay.
So, Jessica, we'll go to you and we'll come back to you, Katrina. Can you just say something, Katrina?
Can you hear me now, Andrew?
I can. So, just demonstrating that we had a significant technical problem, and it had nothing to do with either Katrina or Jessica. It was a executive error. I suspect I will never live this down. So I'm going to move on quickly and not dwell on the moment. And by the end of the night, I will have completely repressed it and forgot all about it. Jessica, welcome. Jessica, you're a social worker with us. And how long have you been with us?
Hi, thanks, Andrew. I've been at Monash Health for 10 years. So I had my 10-year anniversary in July.
And whereabouts are you working?
I'm currently working in the family violence team, so based at Clayton, but working from home since mid-March.
Right, okay. And were you based at Clayton before?
Yeah, based at Clayton before.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
In I-Block out the back.
In I-Block? A lot of people don't know what is, Jessica.
No, it's the old staff accommodation.
Staff? Oh, okay. And what?
Yeah, next to the Nesso building.
Oh, okay. Okay. I think actually I'm looking at it right now.
I think you might be.
Okay. And so what are you doing in the family violence area?
So I'm a family violence project officer in the team. Our team is a statewide initiative, so it's a result of the Royal Commission into Family Violence. And we are doing a lot of initiatives as part of that project across the health service, and a big part of that is doing family violence education for clinical staff, non-clinical staff and managers as well. So we've actually trained just over 6,000 employees since, I think, September 2017. That's something I'm really proud of.
It's fantastic. And it's a very important week this week in family violence, isn't it?
It definitely is. As of tomorrow, so tomorrow the 25th of November marks the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, and it's the first day of the United Nations 16 Days of Activism campaign. And those 16 days run from tomorrow up until the 10th of December, which is International Human Rights Day. So across the world, people involve themselves in the campaign, and it's really about raising awareness about family violence and providing people with information about what it is. And we're running some events as well at Monash Health during that time. So it's really exciting for us. That's great, and a nice a sort of important, of course, every day is important, family violence, but an opportunity to sort of focus on such an important area. And do you have any particular reflections you want to share with us in terms of your time at Monash Health? I've been thinking about my time at Monash Health. 10 years ago feels like a really long time, but I think thinking about the first question that you asked, what would you tell yourself on your first day? My response was sort of keep persevering. It took me a little while to actually get a job at Monash Health, which I can laugh about now, but once I got this job in family violence, I really felt that I'd finally got the job that I had always aspired to be in. So I'm really grateful. Also that Monash Health has provided so many opportunities to me throughout my 10 years. I don't think I would have had that at any other health service or organisation, so I'm really grateful. It's certainly a rich and diverse organisation that we get to work in, isn't it? It absolutely is. And an extraordinary community that we're located in. Yeah, I think one of the things I have enjoyed the most over my time is the multidisciplinary setting and having that exposure to people from different clinical areas and non-clinical areas and constantly learning from other people. I think that's always been something I've enjoyed. How did you get into social work? I think it's always something I was wanting to do. I've always wanted to work in a hospital from as long as I can remember, never really knew what I wanted to do. And as a personality, I naturally attracted people that would tell me their life story and need some support. So I felt like it was just a natural sort of progression for me. Ended up going to work at Child Protection and then ended up in hospital where I wanted to be.
Any advice for me as Chief Executive, Jessica, you want to give me?
Oh, goodness, I don't think I could give you any advice. I don't know how you've done your job through COVID, let alone any other day.
I'm sure you can give me lots of advice, Jessica. I'm sure you'll get a few texts in a minute.
I think it's just continue being transparent, because the amount of communication we've had through COVID has been really valuable, and maybe continue that perhaps once COVID is gone.
Okay, that's good advice. Thanks for joining us, Jessica, and congratulations.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, so let me just have another go at this. Apparently Katrina Nankervis is joining us tonight. Are you there, Katrina?
I am here, Andrew.
Oh, good to see you.
And you.
Excellent. And Katrina, you're going to, I think we're just asking you, I was asking you how long you've been with Monash Health.
Yes, so I started with Monash Health in 2001, but I'm actually currently on my third tour of duty, you might say. So one of the wonderful things about Monash Health is the opportunity to sometimes step out and then step back in again. And I returned to Monash Health.
And Katrina, I'm sure you've had lots of different jobs here, but I think as we were just talking about it a moment ago, the sort of rich and diverse opportunities this place offers is well reflected in your recent promotion.
Indeed. You have recently been appointed to the Chief Nursing Midwifery Officer role, and having started at Monash Health as a Grade 2 registered nurse, it's very rewarding and very exciting.
So you started as a Grade 2 registered nurse. Is that the most junior you get?
Well, I think at the time I started as a Grade 1, which doesn't exist anymore, which was a graduate. So I came in a few years after my graduate year as a nurse on the floor
now,
in the renal unit.
I'm a bit nervous about asking this given my technical faux pas, but you're breaking up a little bit. So your picture's freezing, so we might need to get you to go off video, Katrina. Is that right, Lou, or is that just me?
No, that's correct. I was about to jump in. Yeah, so we don't lose you, Katrina.
Excuse me. So, Katrina, let's dive into it, and you're going to announce the next group of tenure awards.
Fine.
I should just say that we've got quite a lot of tenure awards to get through, so we're going through them in groups. So David announced 115 tenure award recipients. Katrina is going to top David's effort out and announce 149. So over to you, Katrina.
Thanks, and congratulations to everyone who has contributed their 5 or 10 years. In our fast-paced world, a 5 or 10-year time slot is a very long time to commit to any organisation, but certainly very much appreciated that you've chosen to commit that to Monash Health. So congratulate yourselves for your fabulous choice in working and being part of Monash Health, and secondly from me a very warm thank you for what you have done for us. So to Sharon Crowe, Julian Crowley, Jacqueline Curd, Laurel Curran, Christopher Daly, Matthew Damasiewicz, Heather Daniel, Jim Davis, Sharon de Graves, Stephen DeLille, Audrey de Rios, Sabine de Silva, Susan Debney, Angeli Dulia, Alice Dillon, Duruk Din, Harriet Dinning, Tristan Dixon, Michelle De Lima, Stella Jean De Lima, Haishi Wen Duan, Mary Donaghy, Jane Donaldson, Alyssa Donath, Angela Donnan, Melissa Doran, Megida Dugan, Marie Danielle Dubarry, Mihek Duwoodler, Claudia Duma, Benjamin Dunnon, Celia Durry, Louise Dye, Melissa Zankovic, Sunitha Eapen, Chantel Eglinton, Jessica Edwards, Susan Elgin, Rima Elaz, Nala Enat Atzada, Michelle Entwistle, Gina Erickson, Ashafi Ishite, Wilhelm Eichmann, Longau Faise, Karen Farrell, Alison Faskin, Anne-Marie Forston, Chao Siong Feng, Renee Fernandez, Renee Fidanza, Janice Ann Fielder, Mariana Figuric, Elnora Florence, Melissa Flory, Wendy Fonseca, Melissa Ford, Erin Foster, Carol Foster, Sanders Francis, Kate Finesse, Alyssa Gallant, Donata Gaylard, Nikki Gelfand, Anna Geller, Daniela Gemez, Lisa George, Alfonso George, Minnie George, Julie Gephardt, Jennifer Gibbons, Gerda Shang Singh Gill, Emma Gillespie, Melissa Gervin, Anne Gotha, Jamie Goldschmidt, Lorna Gortiza, Nadine Gozal, Melissa Grant, Eva Gray, Alice Greenslade, Angeliki Grigoropoulos, Dimitri Grover, Robert Gayasayan, Svetlana Guilema, Yanan Go, Nikolina Givondazovic, Sam Hyphy, Sue Hannon, Cara Harkness, Tracy Harmer, Tanya Harms, Matthew Harper, Emma Harvey, Kevin Harvey, Janielle Hardwood, Bernadette Hassett, Katrina Hayes, Ronald Hayes, Ziawei Her. Congratulations, all of you, and thank you very much for your contribution to Monash Health.
Apologies. Thank you, Katrina. Okay, so what Monash Health moment lives in your memory? Running a program with 50 at-risk young people referred from 10 different schools, challenging to say the least, but we survived. The opening of Monash Children's, the joy of a staff member who saw one of our volunteers with their therapy dog coming down the hall. They dropped to the ground, wrapped their hands around the neck of the dog and said, "Thursday, Dog Day, is always my favourite day." It reminded me that the volunteers don't just support patients, but also our employees, our staff. Supportive team and friendly work environment. When leaving work after caring for patients, clients always feel rewarded and satisfactory, great sense of feeling, love coming back to work. Moving into the new Monash Children's Hospital, an incredible project and wonderful achievement to be part of. The COVID moment will live in my memory. I will forever be grateful for working at Monash Health during the pandemic. It truly is a privilege. The name change to Monash Health. Aside from the great friends made watching the Children's Hospital come to life, I have too many to list. I've worked in so many wonderful teams across Monash Health. I would make special mention that I loved my time at IMOS in 2011. We competed in the corporate games in netball, such a fun team event. I think the start of COVID and how Monash Health moved to combat this will remain in my memory. Flying to Canberra to Parliament House for the Australian Migration and Settlement Awards. Here's an interesting one. They're all interesting, I should say. Here's a different one. Before I worked at Monash, I lived on Browns Road. Browns Road's the road that runs behind Monash Medical Centre. And I watched Monash Medical Centre being built and the new workforce move in and become part of the community. I never would have guessed years later I would work there through the EMR and COVID-19. Too many to count, but one treasure was receiving my 15-year long service award last year. It was special. Being part of a great department of which has become like my second family, who I miss greatly, the amalgamation with Prince Henry's Hospital, the opening of Ward H and helping plan, organise and set that up, teamwork and emergency, and someone concerned that their name hasn't been called out for their 10 years of service. So hopefully we just covered that off, or we'll cover it off because we've got one more group to go. So let me just see where we're up to. So I think next, having done our quick interview, we've got a video. So is that right, Tim?
I think we might be on to me, and I'm going to read some 10 years. Is that correct?
I'll believe you. Why don't we do that, Louise? And I'll just quickly read my notes and make sure I'm up to track. I can't even blame one of my executive directors. Last year, I was midway through a speech and someone got up to speak, and then I went back to continue my speech and they'd stolen my notes. Sadly, I can't do that this year. I can only blame myself. So over to you, Lou.
Thank you. So I'm Louise Canister and I'm the Executive Director of Public Affairs and Communications. And it's actually my team that puts these events together. And I have to say, I get so nervous. I was, feeling a little bit ill before the event. And that's because this is such a special event and I really want it to be perfect for you so that, you all know how much your contribution to Monash Health means to us all. So I hope you're enjoying the event, and I do hope that you know how much you're valued and appreciated. So I've got 100-odd names to read through with great pleasure, and I'm doing my best on the pronunciation, and please forgive me where I know I will get some of them wrong. So Juran Her, Georgina Heslip, Jetta Faji Hebavia, Patricia Heidman, Cheryl Hines, Ricardo Helt, Sally Ann Heim, Vivian Hill, Nicholas Hill, Stacey Hillebrand, Katie Hogan, Jacqueline Hopkins, Katrina Huben, Pamela Howe, Zoltan Habrovsky, Eric Hugh, Catherine Hudson, Katricia Hull, Kundan Hunt, Tammy Hutchinson, Michelle Huan, Dorothy Hindman, Malika Illich, Mabel Ili Parambil, Shani Ann Irandu, Jerry Jacob, Thomas Jacob, Falguni Jadea, Elizabeth Jaggs, Mary Jaquat, Jenny James, Kandaka Jamil, Russell Jans, Leonie Jacques, Shannon Jarvis, Daya Jaranatni, Vindana Jayathilke, Andrea Jenkins, Amy Jan Jessa, Tanya Juman, Shuping Jia, Guan Glan Zhang, Andrew Johan, Vincy John, Matthew John, Suzanne John, Davidson John, Mary John, Jenny Johnson, Shelley Jones, Lena Jong, Niretta Jordan, Mirijul Jose, Gigi Jose, Lovely Joseph, Jeremy Joseph, Bini Joseph, Asha Joseph, Datta Joshi, Marikuti Joseph, Shili Joy, Bindu Kadavakuzil Matthew, Linda Kane, Swalsan Kamalendine, Siddhagash Nan, Katharisan, Nicole Katz, Alethea Kavanagh, Ursula Hichi, Leanne Keith, Katrina Kelly, Evelyn Keogh, Rebecca Kerrick, Heather King, Danielle Kingston, Pauline Clem, Richard Knight, Robert Kosh, Angela Kodji, Maria Kospos, Valentina Kotsubos, Hock Kua, Christine Kumar, Yinchin Kwan, Larissa Kijwas, Sharon Kwok, Sonia Lalick, Matthew Lamb, Peter Lamshed, Madeline Lang, Jason Lau, Nadia Lebrock, Janet Lee, Lynette Lee, James Leach, Adele Lemming, Catherine Lefaterios, Lisa Leonard, Michael Leone, Hon Long, and Jeanette Leslie. Congratulations to you all. Thank you for your years of service. And back to you, Andrew.
Thanks, Lou. Okay, so we took the opportunity to, one of the great things that is really nice about these events is not just talking to all of you, which we often get to do when we're in person. Lovely to hear some of those stories, but also very touching to hear from some of our long-standing employees. So we thought we'd do a little bit differently, and Lou and the team have been a bit creative, and we're going to show you a little video of some chats with some of our long-standing employees. Over to you, Tim.
One word that would describe my colleagues is supportive. We support each other through good and bad times.
Thinking about it, I guess I would say they're keen. Because they're keen to be there, they're keen to work, they're keen to learn.
What's a word to describe my colleagues? Knowledgeable.
There's one word that I can describe my colleagues at Dandenong, and that is that they're a terrific lot of people to work with.
Generous. They wouldn't be doing it if they weren't giving people.
They're a wonderful bunch of girls and boys.
Over the last 40 years, I've seen a lot of changes, but the fundamental reason that I do nursing is looking after patients and their families. I've survived EMR, that was a crazy time, and I've survived COVID. So I think you just go with the flow and just keep learning. And
The thing I'm most grateful for in my time at Monash was the opportunities that I've been given right from the first year of my work.
I've seen a lot of changes, but I'm open to the changes because changes can bring good outcomes.
Change is good for all of us. It can scare you a bit. Probably scared me a lot over the years, but I've been happy to embrace it, and then when you come out post-change you realise how good it was and that you're very glad that you took the chance with it.
I love the job that I do, so the rest just falls into place very easily. Great staff, thoroughly enjoy looking after patients and their families, and I hope to continue a few more years.
It's important not to make assumptions about or judgments about people because they come from all different areas of life and backgrounds and experiences. the place keeps me grounded. So when I leave here on a Saturday afternoon, driving back to Phillip Island where I live, if I feel on the way up that I had things on my mind that were that I might have been feeling anxious about or sad about, by the time I finish here and drive home, I think, how lucky am I?
2020's been interesting. It's been very difficult and it's been a real battle for a lot of people. But I think what we've learnt, and certainly what we've learnt in the pharmacy, is that we can deliver our services differently but still do it effectively.
The pandemic has taught me to be very flexible because at my age, that's quite hard to do. I had to move out of intensive care where I have worked for 40 years because it is a high-risk area, and I had to move to a surgical ward. So I have to learn new processes.
So obviously every day is a learning curve, none of us know what's coming next. But it's taught me, in fact reinforced for me, that the human race, that we are very adaptable. We have a situation which can be so devastating, and yet we can find ways of doing things a little bit different and still achieve what needs to be achieved.
2020 has taught me to probably take a step back, to think, to support everybody. It's been a very tough year for us in ICU, and I think in the whole hospital. And I think the most powerful thing is that we are all in this together.
Great to see people sharing their stories so generously and their experience of working at Monash Health. So it's my pleasure to invite Martin Keogh, our Chief Operating Officer, to join us. Martin.
G'day, Andrew.
How are you doing this afternoon?
I'm fantastic.
Bit different to last year. How are we doing?
It's a different experience, isn't it? Like all things during this recent period, we're adapting and trying to make sure that we're celebrating the night as we should, but it's in a different context, of course, by the virtual.
Very polite of you not to critique my technical difficulties.
You know, we're all learning.
Over to you, Martin.
So, look, thank you, and it is great to be here. It's, as others have already said, it's always a great night, and we are doing it a little bit differently tonight. But it is a really important night. So I hope you're all home in front of your screens with some loved ones and some people that are important around you to celebrate. I've decided it is past 6 o'clock, so I've already started to celebrate with you. So I hope you've got a drink as well, and that you're enjoying the night. So I'll get into my list. So the first recipient is Nicholas Levine, Christy Lewis, Carolina Layton, Wee Lu, Inka R. Lindell, Jim Sing Lin, Natalie Link, Renata Linklater, Wuan Lu, Clement Lowe, Darren Wacky, Sinto Apon, Anthony Longano, Alison Lord, and then there's a few Lows in a row here. There's a Keith Lowe, Vivian Lowe, Anne Lowe, Emily Lowe, Moalal Lachman, Lai Ma, Ning Ma, Catherine Lachimpaiza, Lisa Mackey, Elizabeth McQueen, Teresa Madden, Miriam Magana, Francis Mahoney, Francis Mayo, Yvonne McEwen, Bella Malavarosa, Kirk Manjinske, Al-Shamar Maniikatham, Muriel Manners, Jing Mayo, Mihi La Marion, Peggy Martin, Samalo Mathahi, Sita Mathis Hodges, Elsie Cutty Mathy, Me Too Matthew, Mincy Matthew, Asa Matthew, Lizzie Matthew, Shah Mashi Malava Abraham, Jacqueline McCowan, Elizabeth McCoob, Heidi McDonald, Carolyn McPhee, Salamahi Mitha Sandraman, I hope I've got that right, Angela Mulder, Martin Mahina Garcia, Sarah Molino, Zena Methaxis, Phoebe Cutty Michael, Sarah McHale, Gina Mildren, Brooke Milkins, Rosalind Miller, Salvadora Mills, Teresa Milsham, Catherine Mitchell, Beans, Mo Beatty, Carolyn Maloney, Asamada Mohmin, Michael Mode, Karina Maroney, Nicole Morse, Dominic Martos, Kiwi Mugala, Tamara Muller, Rachel Muller, Eleanor Muse, Arthur Massady, Lakshika Maivagalilgum, Yusum Launa Mathi, Jason Nebbs, Linda Neitz, Elaine Newton, Duhua Nyong, Lisa Nguyen, Tang Nguyen, T-Ho Nguyen, T Nguyen, Kuin Yeo Nguyen, Noreen Nahal, Daniel Niklik, Sharon North, Belinda Norton, Mary Norton, Irene Nyarina, Kim Oakley, Carl Oakley, Ebony O'Brien, Elizabeth O'Connell, Lisa O'Connor, Bronwyn O'Donnell, Gina Nagato, Amy O'Reilly, Abra Osborne, Rosa Oscuro. Congratulations to all of you recipients. Back to you, Andrew.
Thanks, Martin, and thank you for sharing in their, great length of service, and thank you to those of you that Martin just acknowledged. So, next Slido question. The next Slido question is, what do you still want to achieve at Monash Health? What do you still want to achieve at Monash Health? So jump online and let us know your thoughts. So while you're doing that, we're going to hear from Karen Lowe. Karen is our Executive Director of People and Culture, and she's going to announce the next group of 10-year award for employees. Karen.
Thank you, Andrew. And thank you. Is everything okay?
Everything's good, Karen. How are you doing?
Great. Thank you. Thank you all for coming, and more particularly, thank you for your service and your contribution to Monash Health, and in particular, everything you do for our patients, our consumers, but more importantly, what you do for our colleagues. And I think it was lovely hearing from our long-standing employees about how much they enjoyed and how much they've got out of working with their colleagues. So thank you for everything you do. Now, I have a relatively long list with some names I may get wrong in the pronunciation. So if so, please accept my apologies for that. But with that, thanks very much to all of you. So the first one is John O'Shaughnessy, Muhammad Osman, Yangzi U, Lena Pagali Lowen, Fiona Pallett, Sybil Palipatu, Shanting Pan, Suji Panagoda, Sunita Pant, Bobe Park, Lauren Parker, David Parks, Lisa Pastor, Priyanka Patel, Sandhya Pathian Francis, Jinsey Mole Paul, Stephanie Peterson, Rose Penman, Erwin Peralta, Hans Pereira, Joan Pereira, Zoran Peric, Shingayi Peter, Courtney Peters, Bao Nguyen Pham, Anthony Pham, Michelle Philander, Deepa Phillip, Natalie Peters, Chrissy Jane Pinn, Danielle Planner, Amit Plechik, Non Gluck Pluk Punya, David Pook, Chantel Portelli, Violetta Porter, Marianne Potter, Heather Proud, Claire Pruden, Rachel Pulfer, Donna Punch, Prei Isi Ann Punus, Basia Kardire, Ni Kuake, May Reed Quinn, Jody Rabar, Lyndall Rayton, Sabasti Ramachandran, I think I've got that wrong, Ramachandran, Mud Humitha Raman, Subha Ramaswamy, Satish Ramukmar, Sini Sua Rakwiza, Chawa Pat Ratana Ruke, Muhammad Ratha, Shiva Rekha Ratnakan Than, Gemma Rawlins, Stephanie Ray, Tanya Rendell Estorba, Yelda Riazi, Aneki Richardson, Eugenio Raphael, Alexandra Rigby Rawani, Carmel Riley, Samantha Ryman, Eliza Rinjiri, Chihiro Ritchie, Ferdinand Rivera, Joy Robertson, Maha Rao Billiard Spink, Melinda Robinson, Marie Desiree Robles, Angelito Robles, Julianne Rogers, David Rosario, Sharon Rose, Renji Roshan, Bryony Ross, Lucy Rudolph, Sylvia Rush, John Ryan, Aline Sabdar Ali, Fazila Sabor, Shijay Sabu, Kate Sanderson, Amanda Saraceni, Charminda Saranasuria, Tiffany Serenity, Marley Saunders, Elizabeth Scanlon, Mimi Schiavello, V-Red Schildkraut, Lauren Schwartz, Jennifer Scott, Imelda Scott and Mary Scott, Rosilla Watty Scully, Nicholas Seelig, Christy Zen, Nicole Surdef, and Dana Svetkopoulos. Thank you so much for everything you've done for Monash Health over your 10 years of service, and particularly thank you for what you do to support our colleagues. Thanks, Andrew, and back to you.
Thank you very much, Karen, and thank you for sharing your thoughts. Karen, that is the cleanest desk I've ever seen. I've lost you. You're on mute, Karen.
Yes, I tried to put things away.
It's
so
very
it was
impressive.
Clean.
Beg pardon?
So that it was clean,
right,
to celebrate the event.
Okay. Is home like that as well, Karen?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Okay. There's a potential new career for you there, Karen. Home organising.
Possibly.
Thank you, Karen, for sharing that. So let's go to some of the questions. So what do you still want to achieve at Monash Health? I'm just going to give you a bit of an update and then we'll come back to them. I hope to see out my working life at Monash Health, another 6 years doing my job, which I enjoy. Nothing really. Every day is an achievement. Create some innovative resources that will outlive me. To lose the weight I gained during COVID-19, there's a few of us in that camp. Stay for another 30 years. To be promoted to the executive team. To be the CEO. I want to see Monash Health get the accolades we so richly deserve. So I'll pause there. I'll come back to those in a minute, and I get to have a chat to Suji Panagotta. Suji.
Hello, Andrew.
How are you doing tonight, Suji?
I'm good, thank you, Andrew. And how are you?
I'm very, very well. I'm just wondering, was that be the CEO your response?
No, not me, Andrew.
You don't want to be? You don't want my job?
Well, I think there's a long way for me to go to get there.
I think you do a great job in what you're doing, Suji. So you're the head of engineering, is that right?
That's correct, Andrew. I'm the Director of Engineering and Infrastructure.
Okay, and you've been with us for 10 years. So just tell everyone a little bit about what that role involves.
Okay, I started at Monash in 2010. And at that time, I started as the Senior Manager for Engineering Services. So it was quite an interesting time at the beginning, because I sort of came from, most of my health engineering experience was with the Royal Children's Hospital, so I was with them for about 15 years. And from Royal Children's, I went on a short stint to Mercy Health, and then came on to Monash. So I was just comparing the sheer size of the organization when I moved from Children's to Monash, and I was sort of, at the very beginning, thinking to myself, how am I going to learn the dynamics of such a massive organization in a short while to be able to successfully carry out my responsibilities. But then, as sort of time evolved, I found that Monash has got a very inclusive culture, and I had a good team that supported me. I had good managers and exec directors that I was well supported in the process. So it wasn't such a daunting task to sort of learn how to manage and how to sort of do a job in a very large and a dynamic organization. So, I mean, Children's was in itself a big place, but Monash is much, much larger compared to the Children's. So from there on, sort of, things evolved, and I sort of gradually progressed from a senior manager role to the director's role. And I've been in that role for about 5 or 6 years now.
Suji, you're in a slightly unusual job, I think, in the sense that I think you have one of the most important jobs in the health service, but it's a job that not a lot of people sort of realise or see every day. They take it sort of for granted and really only think of you when something goes wrong. But it's the fact that so many things don't go wrong is a credit to you and the team. And I think that what you do is quite remarkable. You must have had some interesting times over your 10 years in a hospital with its sort of challenges with infrastructure and the like. Have you got any of those you want to share with us?
Absolutely, Andrew. First of all, I really appreciate you identifying the fact that engineering is a dynamic department, but we are not in the forefront of treating the patients. But the work that we do support that process, and I'm really glad to hear the recognition and the importance of that service that engineering provides to the organization. I mean, if you thinking about the 10 years that I spent at Monash, I mean, nothing beats the COVID that we've sort of been through from the beginning of this year. The past year, the amount of innovation, the amount of thinking on your feet, having to work to deadlines, having to coordinate so many different demands and requirements from clinical, medical, various other parts of the hospital, and at the same time keeping, maintaining your sanity, keeping the department and the staff together, having their focus, keeping their morals up. It's quite a challenge that past year, and hopefully we sort of past the peak, and now we are sort of settling down, and hopefully we don't go into a third wave. But I think the work that we did during the second wave has really put us in a fantastic position, so that we can go on forever. We can have 10 more waves that we will, from an infrastructure engineering perspective, we will be ready to face it, because we've done a massive amount of work in preparation for this second stage. So I think nothing's going to beat COVID. I mean, in the past we had SARS, we had Y2K, we had various things, but I think SARS takes the highest priority.
Well, our Head of Infection Prevention, Dr. Stewart, will be thrilled to know your confidence, Suji. So I'm sure she's probably listening, so she'll be reassured. And yes, it's been, I think you're understating it. It's SARS, it's Y2K, it's floods, the downpour that you had and almost took out our electrical power station, fire, the sorts of issues. These are the sorts of things that I think that are so important in what you do. So thank you again for everything you do to contribute to our health service, Suji, and thank you to the team, and congratulations on your 10 years of service.
Thank you very much, Andrew.
So let me go back to a few questions from the team. So to continue to learn, what else have I got here that I haven't read? To further expand our supportive care research program in order to deliver optimal best practice care to our patients and families. Return from parental leave and transition back into the workforce. I hope that's going very well, and we look forward to you coming back. I'd love to mentor a few young people and leave behind some wisdom, such as it is. I'd also love to be mentored by them on all things digital. What else have I got? I've got many years of service for our community. And one for you and I, Katrina. My goal is to eventually promote to the executive team, either the Chief Nursing and Midwifery Officer or the Chief Executive. Don't worry, I have a long way to go. Lots of laughs. Well, from Katrina's and my point of view and all the executives' perspective, we are very keen that there are people that want to continue to learn and continue to grow and keep us accountable, but also look forward to the opportunity of doing the roles that we're very privileged to be part of. So I'm pleased to read that. Not worried at all, very happy. So our last set of awards for the evening is I'd like to invite Carlos Scheinkastel. Carlos is our Executive Director of Quality and Safety. Carlos, are you there?
I am.
Carlos, before you joined us, you were you used to work as a clinician. What did you used to do before you came to Monash Health?
used to be an intensivist. I did that for some 30 years.
So an intensive care doctor?
Correct.
Right. And how did you get into intensive care?
A series of doors opened and I just kept on walking through them.
Often the case, isn't it?
That's right.
I'm not sure if I'm putting my foot in it here. You started off as a kidney doctor, didn't you? A renal physician?
A very long time ago. Very long time ago. Didn't last very long. I moved from there straight into intensive care.
And how long have you been with Monash Health now?
I'm a baby compared to all the people here tonight. I've only been here for 3 years.
Okay, well, 3 years, and as I think Susie's just been said, it's been an event-filled 3 years.
Action-packed.
Action-packed, thank you. EMR, COVID-19. Let's hope it doesn't come in threes, Carlos.
No, we're just having a little rest now.
Carlos, over to you for the remaining group of tenure employees, please.
Thanks, Andrew. Good evening, everyone. I'm actually delighted to be here and part of these celebrations. I'm going to read the last set of names of employees who've been here for 10 years, all valuable members of our team, have made a great contribution to Monash Health and have been critical to our success. So let's start. Tanya Sharrock, Jimmy Shen, Selena Sherwood, Natasha Silverberg, Grace Sincere, Harjit Kaur Singh, Shobiana Surdesai, Kylie Slater, Jane Smart, Suzanne Smith, Joanna Sorensen, Kathy Sugias, Peter Southern, Jamie St. Marth, Lana Stafford Wright, Julia Starhill, Lauren Stapleton, Ingrid Steenholt, Daniel Stefanski, Helen Stevenson, Stephanie Stevenson, David Stevenson, Kate Stillman, Emily Stokes, Kenneth Stonehouse, Danielle Strapp, Stavroulas Strongilos, Paul Stubington, Yan Su, Nancy Su, Khalida Sultani, Juliet Summers, Chewen Jian Sun, Chugu Wang Sun, Sian Sun, Ling Sun, Pippa Sunderland, Julan Suwanis, Annette Swabi, Lorraine Silty, Thomas Salai, Karina Teague, E. Tan, Pi Yao Tan, Vincent Tan, Eden Tabosa, Nagati Kawa Teokotai, Georgios Theodoropoulos, Stephanie Thermos, Nisha Tobias, Renee Thomas, Rogie Thomas, Prince Thomas, Sarah Thomas, and Katrina Thomas. Shija Bonditarai Baby, Sunita Tortaj, Dominic Tigaranjan, Fallon Tigray, Karen Singh Chi Tiong, Dipsy Tony, Elise Trotman, Iha Truyan, Kavishna Tumula, Micheline Bui, Susan Valachovic, Rihanna Valentine, Ilaria Valenzuela, Amy Vandenbroek, Nicole Van Grootveld, Betsy Varghese, Jasmine Varghese Ponmiseri, Julie Vos, Helen Vinko, Nanda Kumar Viswanathan, Agnes Vucic, Robert Wainwright, Janine Wallace, Erin Watts, Emma Webster, Sarah Webster, Victoria Weeks, Jayantha Wiratnath, Brenda Wishart, Jan Wen, Catherine Westcombe, Hayley Wesson, Aaron Westwick, Chandika Welwelwola, Colin White, Anthony White, Karen Whiteley, Renuka Wijasundara, Denise Wilkinson, Brooke Wilkinson, Lauren Williams, Connie Williams, Tanya Williams, Cecile Weiss, Chelsea Whistle, Ellen Wissing, Shu Ming Wong, Edward Wong, Philip Wong, Joyce Jo-Yin Wong, Linda Wong, Rebecca Wanacott, Paul Wood, Yu Wun, Annabelle Wyburn, Rhonda Wing, Yadi Shu, Jing Shu, Yuping Yang, Mary Ann Yang, Kirsten Yates, Wei Lian Yi, Megan Young, Susan Sanoria, Li Qiang Zheng, Man Li Jung, Jim Pung Jung, Su Mei Jung, Chui Shung Jung, Isadora Zimomi, Jinyang Zhu, Joanna Selinska, Samijeta Zijai, and Lisa Sotut. Thank you all for your commitment and efforts over the past 10 years. Andrew, back to you.
Thanks, Carlos, and thanks for sharing a little bit about yourself and sharing your celebrations tonight. So that concludes our evening together. Just so you all know, that was 677 people that we celebrated their service with Monash Health, their years of volunteering, their years of giving of their time, their discretionary time to assist us in the delivery of care to the community, celebrate the 10 years service of people who have chosen to work at Monash Health and be a part of the team alongside our volunteers, alongside so many others to deliver care to our community. And thank you for coming tonight, a different night. Hopefully next year we can get back to how we did it last year. Lots of interesting developments, vaccines, treatments, zero COVID infections. Let's hope all of that continues on a healthy and encouraging path. Until next time we talk, thank you again. Have a good night, little celebration, and take care. Bye-bye.